What's up, guys? Team BlindMST here with John's Bull. Go for it.
Bull. Why is all my shit always bullshit? Alright, I made a super anti-meta deck, and so far it's completely undefeated across, like,
This time he's not lying.
3 or 4 locals. Like, it's too good. I don't know. Basically, it came about because I was sitting at work bored as fuck, and I wanted to bring back TG Stun, and I wanted to put the hands in TG Stun because the hands get under skill drain, and it just doesn't work, so this is what ended up coming of it. So first off, every anti-meta deck should start with Thunder King. He's one of the best anti-meta cards the game's ever seen. It's a crime that he's at 1. Follow that up with 3 Beast King Barbaros, because, I mean, as you'll see, I run skill drain, so that's pretty much enough said there. There's a lot of things you can do with him, plus he's an 8, which kind of adds some utility. Then I play 3 Fire Hand and 3 Ice Hand, because these cards are just so good against so many things, and
they work well with skill drain.
they work really well with skill drain. Also, I run the only problem with these is me and Brian were talking the other day, is that when you run the hands and you go up against something like Light Sworns or Sylvans that just usually don't always have back row, sometimes the Ice Hand can be really dead and it just causes you to like kind of stall out. So a lot of people probably don't know what this card is, but I actually run 2 Prominence Hand. And basically, it's a level 4 that you can just special summon if you have another hand on the field. So a lot of times, I'll just use Ice Hands to make rank 4 plays with Prominence Hand, and it just adds some extra speed to the deck. Then I run 2 Malefic Stardust, a level 8. So I make Felgrins and like Tachyon Dragons all the time, and 2 Malefic Cyber Ends, because they're just 4K beat sticks are pretty hard to deal with for a lot of people. And then the last of the monsters, I run 3 Commandants, because I run Necrovalley.
So you basically use Commandants as an upstart.
I use Commandants as an upstart. Yeah, this is actually a 41 card deck, which is fine because these cards basically aren't even in the deck. Drawing one of these is just like drawing in the Necrovalley. Very, very rarely I'll actually like normal summon one of these and like beat over something if I already have a Necrovalley up and like one in the hand. But usually these function only as upstarts. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. I run 3 Necrovalley. Basically, because I want to run the Malefics with skill drain and stuff, because I want to get that 4K beater out there. And, I run Gravekeeper, so I know how badly Necrovalley actually stops a lot of stuff in the game. So I chose this to run as my field spell, because then I could run the Commandants just to keep thinning out the deck. Also, since the rule change, this is particularly more nasty. I played against Spellbooks, I think, in the last round. I think it was the last round. I know I played against Spellbooks, but... What?
Round 1.
No, I didn't play against Kyle round 1.
He was in the loser bracket.
It was round 2. I played against him round 2. That's what it was. I played against him round 2. Anyways, a lot of decks, their only real out to Necrovalley besides MST was laying their field spell over it. And since you can't do that anymore, like, it's just so much better against, like, Madolches. Prophecy does absolutely nothing if they don't main deck MST, because everything useful they do banishes from the grave. Then I run triple pod Duality, because I don't usually special summon on my turn unless I'm going for a Malefic play, in which case I can just wait and not lay pot. But just you need to get to skill drain, and you need to get to your other cards. Then I run 2 MST, because it's really good. Dark Hole, Book of Moon, and 2 Forbidden Chalice. This card is amazing in this deck. I've actually beat H.A.T twice with this deck now, and it's because Forbidden Chalice isn't a trap, so they'll have a Wiretap thinking they're safe, and I chalice their monster, and then they just like have the utmost disgust. Also, if I have a Beast King sitting on the field, and he's at 1900, and I chalice him, he goes up to 34, and then when Chalice falls off, he stays at 3000, so that's kind of gross. And then the 41st card in the deck is rank up the 7th one.
You don't run any traps?
No, I run traps, but this is like literally the 41st card in the deck. Like,
I thought you went through 41 cards already. I was like, wow.
No.
Explain this card a little bit.
As I said in my other video, this card is disgusting. Unless you open with this card, like, saying this is never a bad thing, because I don't run any, like, upstarts. I just run... The only thing I have that really draws is Pot of Duality, but if you pot into this, you just don't take it, like, and it's not that bad. If you have a play in mind, and then you draw this card, you have 2 plays now. Like, you have 2 absolutely disgusting plays. Like, this card is just... steals games, and it just puts the final nail in the coffin in a lot of other ones. So it's just absolutely gross. And in this deck, I run C101 and I run 107. So
maybe you can show us how that works at the end of the video.
Yeah. And then I run 3 skill drains. Just shits on everything.
Card should be at 1.
It really should.
Yeah, probably. That's for another video. 2D Prison. This was at 3, but...
Is that 3?
Well, no. I mean, like, I was running it at 3, but I ended up taking it down just because there's just so much other stuff I wanted to fit in the deck. And then Bottomless, Wiretap, Solemn Warning, and Torrential Tribute. I mean, I also, like, I wish I could run Fiendish Chains and stuff, but the problem with, like, I wanted to run Fiendish Chains. I was going to run anything to be Fiendish Chains over Breakthrough Skill, but I can't Fiendish Chain a monster if Skill Drain's on the field, like, face up, so, like, it would just be a dead card. I would just be waiting for them to MST my Skill Drain. So I just decided just to cut them and just run it like this, and that's what the Chalices are for, I guess. So that's it for the main deck. Like I said, it's 41 cards. I feel like it's not an issue running 41 cards in this deck because, like I said, the 3 Commandants, I'm basically running 38 cards. And, yeah, so onto the extra deck. I run an Abyss Dweller because it's basically a staple right now in the game. A Cairngorgon because if I have like an Necrovalley up, but I don't have Skill Drain up, and it's Necrovalley's like really shitting on them, I will just put this on field so that if they do get to that MST, then I can say, oh, well, you wanted to MST my Necrovalley? I don't think so. MST something else. It's also really good against Harpies, but that's kind of irrelevant. Crazy Box because I run Skill Drain, so 3k beaters are nice. Exiton because Exiton's Exiton. I had the Exiton Book of Moon play, so I knew I was going to get his effect off, and the person didn't even... I was actually hoping they had a Fiendish Chain or an Effect Veiler or something, just so I could be like, Book of Moon. Gaga Cowboy. I mean, Cowboy for game is just a really real thing. Then I run 2 Silent Honors and 1 C Silent Honor, C101, for the rank up card. If you run the rank up card and C101, I feel like you have to run 2 101s, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to make a 101, and then the next turn you're going to top deck the rank up card and just look at this awfully dead card in your hand.
Or just don't make 101 like I do.
But yeah, so it's pretty, I don't know, it's really good. Then for the rank 8s, the only 2 rank 8s I run are Tachyon Dragon and Felgran, because you can, like I said, Beast King's an 8 and Stardust is an 8, so you can just normal summon Beast King and special summon Malefic Stardust. No problem. And then I run the C107 because it's just a 4500 beat stick if Skill Drain's on the field. There was this one game where I summoned him and my opponent didn't like respond to the summon, so I just activated his effect, negated the effect of all cards on the field, and then flipped a Skill Drain. I had like a Crazy Box, a Beast King, and I think a Malefic Cyber End, and just blew through them for game. And then I run 2 Stardust and 2 Cyber End Dragons because I'm running 2 and 2 in the main deck. I actually really like running Malefic Stardust now. Like, I hated that card in Gravekeepers, but it's not that bad in this, especially right now because it gives you a very good out to Light Sworns, as someone was unfortunate enough to find in the last locals. But I'll get into that in the side deck. So then on the side deck, 2 Noblemen across out, because like I said, I wanted to make this deck this deck just inherently shits on anything rogue, or and most other things just because of Skill Drain. So Hat was a really important matchup for me, and I wanted to just be able to just dump all over Hat. So 2 Noblemans, the 3rd MST, because people always side, like, sometimes, or even if like people just need a crucial key piece like Sylvans, like you need to hit Sylvania, hit the Mirror Fertilizer or whatever, just Mr. Space Typhoon. 2 different Dimension Grounds. I really like this card because I can't really run Macro or Soul Drain because I run the hands. So basically this is like a trap stun Macrocosmos. I can just activate on my opponent's turn, it only hurts them, I don't have to worry about it. 2 Vanity's Emptiness. Just absolutely disgusting card. I would main deck it if I had room. I've tried to make room, but I like how everything else works out better, because then they're gonna MST. They usually MST the field spell or the Skill Drain, and I just get fucked because then I just go neg. 2 Starlight Roads.
That's gross.
It's absolutely gross because nobody expects it.
Extinction Knight, sure.
Yep. I've Starlight Roaded so far. Dark Hole, Torrential. I pretty much everything. In one game, I Starlight Roaded twice. I Starlight Roaded a JD and then a Mirror Force. And it was just super game.
Have you ever Torrentialed your own board or Darkhold just
not,
to get a Stardust
not with
to
this
OTK?
deck,
Or?
Not with this deck, but when I used to run Malefic Stardust and Gravekeepers, like way back, I've done that before. Then I run 2 Debunk, because it's just a really good card. I don't know, there's not really much to say. Like I said, I really wanted to win the Hat Mirror match. And then Well, it's not really a mirror match. It's just a hat matchup.
Mirror match?
Yeah, the hand mirror match. And
Handoff?
and also, it's really good against like Sylvans because... Boojans. It's really good. I like this card a lot. Like, I like this card better than Skullmeister personally because there's a lot of decks that, like Sylvans, if you excavate your monster and its effect's going to go off, if I Skullmeister it, like, say it's like a Hermitry or a Sage Coil or something, yeah, that's fine, you won't get the effect, but you can just Soul Charge it back. So I would rather just remove it from play, or even like Light Swords, like let's say a Wolf or a Minerva hits the grave.
What about a DD Crow?
Eclipse River, DD Crow would be good, but like I want to stop the effects too, so this is basically, it's slower, and it can be wiretapped, but it serves both functions, and I don't know, I like the Bunk, I really like the Bunk, it's one of my favorite cards, so maybe I'm just biased. And then I run 2 XYZ Universe. Shits on Madolches, shits on Mermails, Yugioh. Only Mermails when they go for the Bahamut play. But if you're running rank 8s or 7s in your extra deck, I highly recommend siding 2 of these because it's just so good against a lot of stuff. And then 2 Majesty's Fiend. Because it's really easy for me to just special summon a Malefic monster and then tribute it for Majesty's Fiend, and a lot of decks can't get over that. And yeah, it's pretty gross.
More stun, more skill drain.
More skill drain, basically. It's just better in a lot of circumstances, actually. Yeah, so that's pretty much that's the deck profile.
You want to show us that rank up card? How it works?
I guess. For those of you who don't know how this card works, alright, so let's say, I start, you have to tap deck it. Like, you cannot have this card in your hand or on the field or whatever. So you draw this card for your turn.
Your draw phase, specifically?
In your draw phase. Like, your actual draw. Like, it has to be your draw for the turn. You can't activate cards to draw into it. You can't use effects during your draw phase. Like, it has to literally be your draw for the turn. You look at your opponent, you laugh a little bit, and then you say, reveal, and they're like, what does that do? And like, well, I'm going to special summon 2 monsters, basically. And so then you play it, you special summon the first monster, so either the 101 or the Tachyon, depending which one you want to go into, and then you immediately overlay for the other one. And this is absolutely free. Like, this literally costs you nothing. So, like, at the very worst, they're going to use a one-of to deal with this monster. This is a 4500 beat stick all day. And you can detachment to it and negate the effect of all face-up cards, and your opponent can't activate anything for the rest of the turn. So, like,
skill drain again.
That's gross. It's a skill drain, and it's a cold wave, I guess. Like, it just stops everything. Like, if his effect resolves, your opponent does not get to do anything for the rest of your turn. And then C101 is good because when he hits the board, you can just eat an opponent's special monster once a turn. You don't have to detach for it. You don't have to do shit. And on top of that, when he's sent to the graveyard with 101 attached to his material, he special summons himself back, so it gets under Necrovalley, and then you gain 2,800 life points. So, just 2 amazing cards for this super, super sacky top deck that just steals games. And, like, I actually did open it twice, which is kind of really ridiculous, because I only run 1 of them, and I run 41 cards.
Best top deck in the game?
But it is, like Brian just said, the best top deck in the game. And even if... I won both games, I opened it still. But that could just because Skill Drain goes hard as fuck against most people.
Do you side it out when you side Vanities in?
I side it out when I side Vanities in. I side it out a lot. I side out... When I'm siding... If I win game 1 and I'm siding, I side out every single one of, pretty much. Like, except for the traps. Like, I side out Dark Holes, and Gravekeepers I side out Road Tributes, because my theory is, like, I just beat you straight up. Like, unless I won in a super sacky way, I've already beaten you. So all I want to do is just make the most consistent version of this deck, but tailored to beating you. So, like, when I'm siding in my extra deck cards, like, basically, like, or my side deck cards, those should essentially have the same amount of power as my one-ofs, or they're not really worth siding. So, like, I just try to make it as consistent as possible. So this always gets sided out. Always, always, always. Unless, like, unless there's just stuff in my deck. Like, sometimes I actually side the hands out. I know that sounds dumb, but, like, they're just not good against everything. Sometimes I side out, like, 1 or 2 of the Malefics. It really depends on the matchup, but this almost always gets side out. But that's just because I always side out the one, like, the super lucky one-ofs.
So what do you call this BS?
BS? I don't know. Like, there's really not a name for it. Like, it's just...
Can we call it BS?
We can call it BS. Like, it's just stun. Like, I mean, what's...
I already said it was bullshit.
Malefic Hands, Necrovalley, fuck you, I guess? I don't know. But anyway, so that's that. This is my latest kind of Frankenstein creation. It's absolutely gross. I think I've lost literally a game, maybe. Like, 1 single game. Oh my god. I was playing against Fire Kings, And I know he's gonna watch this and he's gonna be pissed, but he game 1, he had 2300 attack, and he soul charged for 3. And I just sat there, I was like, alright, game. I don't know, it was pretty funny.
Bad players. Good players don't do that. Good players don't beat themselves so
Good players don't beat themselves. It's whatever, it was a mistake. Alright, thanks for watching. I don't know, it was just funny.
This is Team BlindMST. Make sure to subscribe and leave some comments on the video.